We're back at it. Good morning, television family. It's good to see you. It is Monday, 14th day of November, 2022. I'm Dan Coons. Hope you had a good weekend. Wasn't too bad. Weather-wise, quite a bit of sunshine for everybody. Got to 37 on Saturday. It got to 42 yesterday with quite a bit of sunshine. And this pattern is going to continue all this week into the weekend. But starting next week, as we get closer and closer to Thanksgiving, things are going to get mixed up a little bit. But for the most part, the weather, in a word, for this whole week is going to be boring. Clouds and fog in the morning, burns off mid to late morning, sunshine in the afternoon. We're going to do that today. Going to do it tomorrow. Going to do it Wednesday. Going to do it. No snow, no precipitation at all in the forecast. Passes are fine. But they've been making some significant progress, enough so up at Mission Ridge. They're going to open on Saturday. Not the whole mountain. They're not quite there yet, but enough runs to say, hey, let's open up some chairlifts and get going. So for you Mission Ridge skiers, Saturday, you can go throw yourself down the side of a mountain on a pair of skinny pieces of fiberglass. More power to you. Forecast details are coming up. We have some news to get to. It was a busy news weekend. We don't like it when it's a busy news weekend. For reasons obvious, you'll find out about that. Pretty good weekend sports-wise. Seahawks, if you got up early, you watched them lose to Tampa Bay in Germany. The Chelan Goats have won yet another State Girls 1A championship. They just rolled right over the competition down in Yakima. That's 3 in a row now for the Lady Goats and 4 overall. We'll talk about that and all the other playoff action in high school sports over the weekend, plus hockey. Good weekend for the Wenatchee Wild, too, I might add. And in the back half of the program, it's been way too long since our friend Tom Nees paid us a visit. Tom's the executive director of Serve Wenatchee Valley. They get busy this time of the year for the holiday season. He'll talk about the baskets of blessings and some other cool stuff that's on his calendar. Tom Nees, our good buddy, in the back half of the program. 27 degrees, clouds and fog. Sun is just about coming up now. Sunrise officially this morning, 7:04, just about 90 seconds from now, officially. I don't know who keeps track of these things. I don't. I just do what I'm told. Let's go ahead and take our tour around the valley with our cameras. My guess is we're not going to have a lot to choose from because, again, of the clouds and the fog. That's the cross camera. That's up at the Wenatchee Heights, the one that we start out our festivities every day, and that's what you see. That cloud level is right there. When I get up at 3:30 in the morning, one of the first things I do is I step outside and I look to see if I can see the cross, and I could not see the cross, and I still can't see the cross from Wenatchee Heights. So we got those low clouds and fog. Again, it'll burn off by around 10:30 or 11 this morning. Camera number 2. Rondo Rock. The Rondo Rock camera, we're looking at Lake Antioch and the Columbia River, looking up the river. Rondo to your right. You can see Earthquake Point a little bit up past Antioch from the Rondo Rock camera on the east side of the Columbia River in Douglas County, near Orondo. I don't know if there's actually an Orondo Rock. If there is, then we named it. Good for us. Camera number 3. Again, limited visibility. I see treetops. I want to say perhaps Lake Wenatchee or maybe Leavenworth. That's the Tumwater Canyon camera. It wasn't too bad not that long ago. Somewhere down there is Leavenworth. Good morning, Leavenworth. You're down there. Trust me. Kind of cloudy and foggy there. And they're probably going to take a little bit longer for the clouds and the fog to burn up in the upper valleys. In Leavenworth right now, let me look. You're at 23 degrees. It's 27 here in the big city. And camera 4. We wrap up our tour with, hey, we can finally see something. That has got to be Lake Wenatchee, I think, but I don't know. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So that's Dirty Face off in the distance, I want to say. Look at the clouds and the fog hanging around. This happens this time of the year, of course, when there's a significant temperature variation between the temperature of the lake and the air above it. This is what happens with the clouds and the fog. And again, it's pretty thick there, so it may be quite some time for you folks in the upper valley, Leavenworth and Lake Wenatchee and Plain, before those clouds and fog burn off. But you can also see the clear skies up above it, those salmon-colored skies, peachy pink, if you will, above the Lake Wenatchee area. Weather in a word, blah. This kind of, yeah, it is what it is. It's kind of going to feel like January. We get used to these air inversions. High pressure is still out there. It's just sitting there. In fact, if anything, it's building in intensity. And when you have the high-pressure ridge and not a lot of daylight and cold temperatures, this is what's going to happen. Clouds and fog in the morning, sun breaks in the afternoon. Probably not going to see as much sunshine over the next 4 or 5 days as we saw over the weekend. And we had bountiful sunshine especially on Sunday. There was a lot of it, but we're going to be stuck in this pattern of low clouds and fog in the morning and sunshine in the afternoon, and temperatures will remain below normal for the foreseeable future. Not dramatically colder. We were seeing temperatures last week that were 10 or 12 degrees below normal for the afternoon high and the overnight low. It's not going to be that cold, but still below normal. We have that slide for you as well. We're going to see temperatures getting close to 40 for the Wenatchee Valley. Do we have that slide, Captain? That's the one we're talking about. So again, temperatures will remain pretty consistent, roughly 5 to 6 degrees below normal, both for the afternoon highs and the overnight lows. So we're in a long period of pretty chilly temperatures for November. Not unheard of, but it's not going to be quite as cold this week as it was last week. There were a couple of times last week when it felt really cold for November. But now we got to remember we're in mid-November now. In fact, almost exactly through the middle of the month. From the National Weather Service, here we go. Clouds and fog in the morning, burns off 10, 10:30, 11 or so. Sunshine returns in the afternoon. We'll get up to 38. And again, yesterday's high, 42, because we had sunshine most of the day on Sunday. Patchy fog reforms overnight tonight, 24, and then we do it all over again. Patchy fog in the morning, burns off mid to late morning. We get up to about 40 degrees with afternoon sunshine. Wednesday, morning fog, afternoon sun, high of 40. Thursday, morning fog, afternoon sun, high of about 41. Friday, mostly sunny. Not going to deal with as much fog. As you can see, we'll have some clearer skies. That's why the overnight lows will be dropping down to about 20 to 19. So no blanket to warm us up. So we're going to see more sunshine, but slightly cooler temperatures by the time we get into the weekend. The long-term forecast as we head into Thanksgiving week, the main forecast concerns coming up will be maybe some active weather on Monday and Tuesday, but it's a little too far out in the forecast calendar to really give an accurate description of what we're going to be dealing with on Thanksgiving week proper, which begins next week. 7 minutes after the hour, grab your coffee and come right on back. We'll have the news for you in 1 minute. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Fall has arrived and Collins Fashions is your headquarters for cozy warm sweaters and jackets. Holiday attire so sparkling and glamorous from Joseph Ribkoff and Frank Lyman. We have soft sweaters from Karen Kane, Tribal, Charlie B, and Ken Ross Cashmere. New jeans and all washes and styles just for you from Jag, Cut, Liverpool. New fall Brighton handbags and styles and colors in sable and chili pepper. And ladies, it's time to fill out your wish list at Collins Fashions, where fun meets fashion in downtown Wenatchee.
Welcome to Bubbly by Cake Chick, where friends come to relax and reconnect. Enjoy delicious lunches, decadent desserts, classic champagne, and bourbon tastings. Make every day an occasion when you join friends at Bubbly by Cake Chick on Riverside Drive in Wenatchee.
Nice shot up Lake Wenatchee way here in the valley. We're socked in with low clouds and fog. It will burn off. We'll see highs near 40, and that's going to be the pattern pretty much all week long. Clouds and fog in the morning, sunshine in the afternoon. Highs a few degrees below normal. It's 27 right now at 9 minutes after the hour. The bodies of a 32-year-old Othello man and his 6-year-old son were recovered yesterday afternoon after the canoe that they and 2 others were in capsized Friday night on a small lake near Warden. The Grant County Sheriff's Office said another son's body was discovered Saturday morning. A third son was able to swim to shore. The Sheriff's Office says the incident occurred sometime before sunset Friday, while the 4 were on a fishing trip on what's called a seep lake at the Columbia Wildlife Refuge that's south of State Route 262. Family members became concerned when the group did not return. They went to the area, and there they found the 10-year-old boy on the shoreline suffering from hypothermia. He was estimated to have been there for nearly 7 hours. He was treated and released. The body of the 8-year-old boy was discovered early Saturday morning. The names of the deceased and of the surviving boy have not yet been released. The state says too many trucks were using Valley Mall Parkway during the emergency repair work on the Fred Meyer bypass, so they shut down an access point. On Friday morning, the Washington State Department of Transportation closed eastbound access to Valley Mall Parkway from the roundabout off Sunset Highway. The detour the state set up has southbound traffic crossing the George Seller Bridge into Wenatchee, then looping back into East Wenatchee. WashDOT says using Valley Mall Parkway takes motorists more than 5 extra minutes, while using the detour over the bridges takes about 4 minutes. Last Thursday, crews began repairing a failed storm sewer pipe on that Highway 28 bypass, with the closure expected to last into this week. The Wenatchee City Council voted for a mild increase Thursday on city property taxes. Starting next year, the average city taxpayer will see a 1% bump on their bill. City Finance Director Brad Posenjak says it's mostly a housekeeping measure as the city starts assessing its 2023 budget.
The City Council each year is required to adopt a property tax levy and report that or certify that to the county assessor. This year, the property tax ordinance that we have for you is the most simple that our City Council has seen for 2 decades. The last 20 years, we've had the regular levy and the bond levy, and then on occasion we've had accessing bank capacity. But this year we are just taking the 1% maximum. We only have the regular levy. We don't have the bond levy anymore. That was satisfied last year. And so we are just adopting the regular levy and just the 1% plus new construction as allowed by state law.
This is all built into our budget. These are the numbers you've used for budget adoption next Thursday. So yeah, I think the simple part of this is we're just taking the 1% plus new construction, which is all that we're allowed to take under the IMA initiative in terms of increases. Obviously, the cost to conduct government is going up faster than 1%, but our property tax is limited to that.
An East Wenatchee man is jailed awaiting a possible sentence of 4.5 years in prison. He was convicted of assaulting a bouncer during a bar fight. A Douglas County jury found that man, 28-year-old Chase Allen Spiegel, guilty of second-degree assault in trial 2 weeks ago. Security video from the January incident showed Spiegel punching the bouncer and breaking his nose. He was previously convicted and served prison time for a violent 2016 assault against his girlfriend. Judge Brian Huber set sentencing for tomorrow. Prosecutors are asking that Spiegel be sentenced to 57 months incarceration. A major motion picture that was partially filmed right here in the Valley will open in theaters on November 23rd. That includes the Gateway Cinema out in Old Station. Devotion. It's a Korean War drama focused on Navy fighter pilots played by Glenn Powell and Jonathan Majors. The movie also stars Joe Jonas. In January of 2021, the vintage fighter planes flew out of Payne-Bohr Memorial Airport, and they were filmed throughout the Wenatchee Valley, which raised lots of interest and lots of curious people. Here is the official trailer for the movie, and you will notice it has lots of familiar sights.
Ready, set, hit!
You're the only person I ever met belonged in the sky. Just remember you belong down here with us too, okay?
The commanding officer called you one of the best pilots he's ever seen. It must be hard being the
naval aviator? Absolutely.
The whole world's looking different. Did you ever think that you'd be in a squadron with a colored aviator?
Lieutenant Tom Hudner. Jesse Brown. It's good to meet you.
We're taking a slight detour on the way home. Say again?
What are you going to find out about your wingman cruising at 10,000 feet, Lieutenant? Put him in a little bit of trouble. Who knows? We might get a peek at who he really is.
The North Koreans came pouring over the 38th parallel.
Our guys need help, and we're up.
We knew this day might come.
Yeah, it doesn't make it any easier.
The most important thing is this. We bring everyone home.
Mistakes get us killed.
Can't tell you how many times people have told me to give up, quit, die even. always do what you're told.
It's a mag!
If I did, I wouldn't be here. What do you want me to do? Just be my wingman.
The real battle in all of life is being someone that people can count on.
Show off.
That was pretty good.
It's good.
And finally, Friday, of course, was Veterans Day, the day set aside to honor all of those who served in our armed forces, as usual. There was the parade right here in downtown Wenatchee, not far from the studios, plus, of course, the ceremony at Memorial Park. Here are some of the sights and sounds from Friday morning's parade. And as I mentioned at the start of the program, Mission Ridge got a lot of snowmaking done since they began back on November 1st, and they announced over the weekend they will be opening on Saturday. This Saturday, not all of the mountain will be open, not all the runs will be open, but it should scratch that itch for you skiers and snowboarders. Mission Ridge opening earlier than normal this year. And that's the news. At 18 minutes after the hour, we'll have a newscast, as we always do, at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock. And with the preview of that news, here's the anchor, Grant Olson.
Good morning, Dan. Coming up tonight on the NCW Life Evening News, not much change in our weather this week with a mix of clouds and sun and continued unseasonably cool. I'll have all the details in your complete North Central Washington weather forecast. And coming up in sports, Eric Granstrom has results from the weekend's high school state playoffs, a look at our college football teams, and results also of the Wild and Kraken, and the latest from the Seahawks game yesterday in Germany. That and all the day's news stories coming your way tonight at 5, 6, and 10 on the NCW Life Evening News. We hope to see you then. Dan?
Thanks, Grant. You want to say hi or you got a news tip? You can do it if you want. You can go to our homepage, ncwlife.com, click on the Contact Us icon. Go to our Facebook page, use the Messenger app, or you can email us if you have email. And I think we all do. News at ncwlife.com. When we come back, a whole bunch of sports. It's Monday, after all. That's what we do around here. It's 1 minute away. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
At Washington Trust Bank, can't is a 4-letter word.
I think we should hire more people.
Doc, late for a meeting.
Hey, we need to build a home office. We're adding another bathroom.
We need a warehouse.
I can't imagine how we do that.
We believe you can do whatever you set your mind to, and we'll help you get there. Washington Trust Bank, privately owned, locally invested.
If you are looking for dependable car service and repair, visit the good guys at Quick Lube and Tune. They've been keeping cars and trucks in the Wenatchee Valley running smooth for 35 years. Quick Lube and Tune is your hometown shop for a 10-minute oil change, complete tune-ups, alignments, brakes, mufflers, air conditioning service, and more. Get more life out of your vehicle by bringing it to the local guys you can trust at Quick Lube and Tune on South Wenatchee Avenue.
Sports 20 minutes after the hour. Let's go back to Friday. We have highlights of Cashmere, their first round matchup in the State 1A tournament. They were in Woodland. That's a long bus trip. Taking on La Center, the first round of the State 1A football tournament. The Wildcats had a 14-0 lead before Cashmere could catch its breath, but the Bulldogs would counter after La Center missed a 30-yard field goal early in the second quarter. The Bulldog offense came alive. They marched 80 yards on 7 plays, which was highlighted by a 42-yard completion from Trenton Mason to Jack Croce. That helped set up a 13-yard touchdown run. There's the big long pass we're talking about. That's the 42-yarder from Mason to Croce. And what did that set up? A 13-yard touchdown run from Luke Jacobson. That cut the Wildcat lead to just one possession. It was 14-7 in the second quarter. Late in the second quarter, junior linebacker Josh Maros picked off a pass from the Wildcat quarterback, took it to the house, a 13-yard pick six. As you can see, they're pretty happy. The Bulldogs then executed. Check out this trick play. Pretty well done. Yeah, the kicker runs it in for a score. That gave the Bulldogs a halftime lead of 15-14 after the two-point conversion. Late in the third quarter, Cashmere defensive end Luke Jacobson got to the quarterback, forced a fumble deep in Wildcat territory. So Cashmere gets the ball right on the doorstep, and on the very next play, junior running back Tyler Peterson rushed for a 3-yard touchdown that gave Cashmere the lead. That was the field goal that got them up to 22-17, and then Cashmere leaned on the running game and eventually ran out the clock, and they came away with the upset victory on a long bus trip. That's like just north of Vancouver. What is that, 7 hours on a school bus? But if you're going to take that kind of trip, you want to win, and you did. Cashmere wins 22-17. So nice upset there. On Saturday, by the way, Royal defended its home field with a lopsided 41-7 win over Cascade Christian. Cashmere moves on to the quarterfinals. They'll be in Bellingham Saturday at 3 o'clock. They'll take on New Sac Valley. Elmira Cooley Heartline season, they came to an end on Saturday in the first round of the State 1B tournament. They lost in Nacelle 64-6. Liberty Bell, though, blew out Muckleshoot. They advance. The Mountain Lions will take on Mossy Rock in the quarterfinals. It'll be Saturday at 5 o'clock at Tiger Stadium in Centralia. The Okanagan Bulldogs will take on Onalaska in the State 2B quarterfinals. That's Saturday at Liebhoff Field at the Apple Bowl at noon. Ephrata very nearly pulled off the upset Friday. They handled WF West, but they finally lost 29-28. Othello, though, advances with a 49-12 win over Washington High. Sunnyside and Richland knocked out of the State 4A tournament on Saturday. The Grizzlies losing to Chiawana 49-20. The Bombers dropped a 46-35 decision to Kennedy Catholic. We have a state volleyball champion in our midst again. Chelan winning its third straight 1A volleyball championship Saturday. They beat Linden Christian in the semifinals 3-1, and Andy Wright for the title 3-0. Congratulations to the Goats, fourth overall title, by the way. Ellensburg wrapped up the District 5-6 2A volleyball championship. They beat Ephrata 3-0. The Tigers had to win a crossover game with Clarkston Saturday by a score of 2-1, so they advanced to state. Pullman is the other crossover winner. They advanced to state with a victory over Sela. Ephrata's first-round opponent in the State 2A tournament Friday is Columbia River. That'll be at 10:45 in the morning. Ellensburg drew Mark Morris in the first round also at 10:45. Early start Friday for teams in the State 4A tournament. That's not a misprint. Wenatchee and Kennedy Catholic, 7 a.m. in the Sumdome Friday. The West Valley will play Camas in their first-round match at 8:45. Okanagan lives to see another day in the State 1B/2B Girls Soccer Championships. Bulldogs blanked Cle-Elum Roslyn 5-0 Saturday to advance to the semifinals. Tonasket season came to an end in Spokane. They lost to St. George's 5-2. Okanagan will take on Highland Friday at Renton's Memorial Stadium in the semifinals at 5 o'clock. That'll be followed by the other semifinals, St. George's and Kalama. The winners and losers will play Saturday for first, second, third, and fourth place. The Huskies pulled off the upset of the weekend in college football. 25th ranked Dogs kicked a 43-yard field goal with 51 seconds left. Huskies beat Oregon 37-34. The game was tied at 34. Ducks went for it on 4th and 1 from their own 33-yard line. Noah Whittington slipped in the backfield, didn't get the first down. The Huskies ran 4 plays, including the 43-yard game winner to pull out the upset. The Cougars built a 28-0 halftime lead, and then they kind of got sloppy in the second half, but they won. They beat Arizona State and Pullman. The final there was 28-18. By the way, the Cougars are now bowl eligible. Montana rolled up 600 yards of offense. The Grizzlies rolled over Eastern Washington 63-7, and Cameron Daniels rushing for 222 yards and 2 touchdowns. J.J. Lemming throwing for 2. Central Washington wins their season finale over Texas Permian Basin 49-14. The Wenatchee Wild found some good home cooking over the weekend. 13 goals in 2 games. And they beat Victoria, and they beat West Kelowna. Jason Stefanik found the net midway through the first period Friday, and that opened the floodgates for the Wild 6-0. They shut out the Grizzlies. Austin Droughty had the call on the Wenatchee Wild Hockey Network.
Noah Laframboise plays it out, left wing face-off circle, stolen, wrist shot, save, rebound, they score! David Hayduk! Right wing face-off circle, bottom of the circle. Wenatchee on top 1-0. Wall out front, Berger, great save. Set up pass on the doorstep. Jones with a chance, he scores! Noah Jones, his first goal of the season and the first junior goal for Noah Jones. And back out with it was Dylan Brooks. Sent ahead, Nelson over the blue line, held up just long enough. Nelson walks in front, forehand, he scores. Luciak hands it off, McDonald. Up top, wrists it toward the net, it rattles home, they score. Looked like it got tipped in front, and this game is tied. Next goal is going to be a huge momentum builder for somebody here. Caron can't split the double team. Norling coming by to help out. Sends it in front, and they score. What a time to talk about the next goal. Left on the Dix Heating and Air Conditioning power play. Wild looking to tie it. Hayduk with a shot, he scores! Tie, game 3-3. To the far hash mark. Played across, one-timer into the corner of the net. They score again. It's Somoza. It's Wenatchee back in the lead, 4-3. Cristiano to the end boards. Jones gets to it at the hash mark. Somoza sends it out front. They score. Parker Murray. Somoza setting up his line mate again. 5-3 Wenatchee. But it went back out to the point. Weiland out front. They score! Somoza! Hat trick! Here they come! On the end boards, Fusco gives him an extra shot with the stick. Played across. Hayduk shot from the blue line. That one knocked down. It scrambles in. They score! Littler was right there. Did he touch it up and pick up the tally-toe? The Wenatchee Wild knock off one of the top teams in the BCHL. We'll let the crowd tell you the rest.
That was highlights from Saturday night's victory over West Kelowna on Military Appreciation Night. Do we have the highlights from Friday's victory, Captain? I believe we do. Go ahead and roll those in.
And Horn waiting just long enough. Coming outside the zone was Christian Kim. Wrist shot. They score! Jason Stefanik above the face-off circles. And the Wenatchee Wild are on the board first. It's 1-0. Trying to lead Bond through neutral ice. Wild get this one back. Slavin sends it ahead. Assembly line passing. Here comes Murray, one of the goalie. Gets to the backhand. And a sprawling save. Rebound. They score! Murray, no! Wild, yes! Luke Weiland gets the crowd going wild. It's 2-0. Littler trying to control the rebound. It took a hop on him, and he wasn't able to do it. Swipe back out front. One-timer, Berger, they score! Has it blocked. Bonet hauls it down. Weiland throws it on. Great kick save. Berger with a rebound. It's a long one. Sent it across. They get it to Somoza. Back door, they score! Up high for Hayduk. Back over to Somoza, right dot. Back door, and they score! Cade Littler, 5-0. Face-off won by Wenatchee. Wrist shot. Kind of surprised. Hold second chance. They score! A power play goal. They're 3 for 4. Jackson Ebbett. Puck past Horn, into the corner, down to 2 seconds. This crowd is going home happy. Wild win.
So the Wild sweep over the weekend. Next up, Salmon Arm in town Wednesday night, 6:05 at the Town Toyota Center. Speaking of hockey, Seattle Kraken's 5-game winning streak came to an end Friday at Climate Pledge Arena. They lost to Minnesota 1-0. Then last night, Seattle was just seconds away from getting back on the winning track. They led Winnipeg 2-1. The Jets scored late and then won the game in overtime. Seattle is off until Thursday when they'll host New York, the Rangers, at 7 o'clock on Root Sports Northwest. It was a rockin' Alliance Stadium yesterday morning, the very first NFL game ever in Germany. Unfortunately for you Seahawks fans, as you know by now, Seattle lost to Tampa Bay 21-16. Tom Brady threw for 2 touchdowns. The Seahawks defense, no answer for Rashard White on the ground. He rushed 22 times for 105 yards. The Bucs led 14-0 at half. Seattle could muster nothing offensively. Coach Pete Carroll says it was that slow start that cost them in the end.
Well, this feels like a real opportunity missed. Coming here in this beautiful setting, all the build-up and everything that the game could have been, it was, and hype, and the fans were extraordinary, and everything was about this whole trip has been great. So the opportunity to win the game here would have been one to really cherish, and I'm sure that they will. They played a really good football game. Tampa Bay did what they wanted to do, and particularly early in the game, they were able to keep us off balance, and we have not been like that for a while, and so we had to regroup. Particularly, I don't think we converted a third down in the first half and didn't run the ball at all.
To the other games in the NFC West, it was Arizona winning the battle of the backup quarterbacks. Colt McCoy beating John Wolford 21-17. Kyler Murray and Matthew Stafford didn't play. They're hurt. San Francisco came back from being 13-3 down, held the Chargers scoreless in the second half. The 49ers came out on top 19-16. So Seattle's lead, as you see there in the division, is down to a half a game over San Francisco. And those are just some of the games that people are playing on this National Pickle Day. I guess the cat's out of the bag there. It's National Pickle Day. Somebody somewhere figured out that if you take cucumbers and you put them in this mixture of vinegar and brine or whatever, the cucumbers change their flavor and they last a really long time. It was pretty much a subcontinent kind of thing, and then it was European sailors because pickles lasted a very long time, so they could take them on long trips over the sea and still have food to eat, and that's how pickles became pickles, eventually spread throughout Europe and then here to the United States. Fun facts about pickles. Approximately 20% of all pickles need to be refrigerated all the time. 80% of pickles that are sold are at room temperature, but there are 20% of pickles that have to be refrigerated at all times. Pickles are actually fruit because it's the cucumber, after all. Americans eat 20 billion pickles a year. About 70% of all households have pickles on hand, and the most popular pickle of them all is the dill pickle, the traditional dill pickle. I like a good pickle. I really do. 33 minutes after the hour, today in history. Local law enforcement got really curious as to why there were a whole bunch of really expensive, nice cars without a state license plates getting together at Appalachian, New York. Appalachian, New York was a small little town in upstate New York. Also happened to be the home of Joe the Barber Barbera of the Barbera crime family. It was called the Appalachian Summit, with all the big mafiosos gathering together to have a meeting of the 5 families to dole out power and what are they going to do next to see drugs, trafficking, unions, garbage, whatever we have. They all got together in one spot, but unfortunately, when you all get together in one spot in a small little hamlet, people are going to find out about it. The police closed all the roads around Joe Barbera's house. They raided the joint, and about 60 members of the mafia were all arrested because they weren't very bright. The Appalachian Summit was busted, and about 50 of them went to jail. They also had to admit, the feds did, that there was such a thing as organized crime, and the mafia, they kind of weren't admitting that existed. And finally, Southern Airways, Flight 932. 37 members of the Marshall University Thundering Herd football team, the 8 members of the coaching staff, 25 boosters, 2 pilots, 2 flight attendants, and the person who chartered the flight goes down. Southern Airways Flight 932. Here is the CBS Evening News, November 15th, 1970.
Good evening. A charter jet carrying the Marshall University football team home to West Virginia crashed last night as it tried to land at the Huntington Airport. All 75 persons aboard were killed. It was the worst plane crash in the United States so far this year. Barry Seraphin reports.
One former player said the Marshall University football team was just beginning to show its potential when it traveled to Greenville, North Carolina yesterday to meet East Carolina University. Marshall lost, but it was close, 17-14, and the two teams exchanged congratulations afterward. It was the first time this season Marshall's football players had flown to a game. The flight home ended here on a muddy hillside a half-mile down the slope from the runway at Huntington's Airport. The chartered DC-9, flying in through rain and fog, glanced up a ridge and then nosed down, shearing off trees and exploding in flames. Everyone on board, the 38 football players, the coaches, a group of fans, some prominent local citizens, and a 5-man flight crew, died. Firemen, police, civil defense, and National Guard personnel worked through the night, combing the debris for bodies. Most of the victims were burned beyond recognition. Their bodies were taken to a temporary morgue set up in a National Guard armory, but identification was difficult. With daylight, a bulldozer was brought in to move large sections of the fuselage and motors, which remained intact as the grisly search continued. Federal investigators swarmed over the site today. A National Transportation Safety Board official said the pilot may not have known he was flying dangerously low until it was too late, because Huntington's Airport, which sits on top of a hill, has no approach radar system.
Still remains to this day the deadliest plane crash involving a sports team in this country's history. Birthdays at 36 minutes after the hour. McLean Stevenson, who played Lieutenant Colonel Henry Blake on MASH, born in state 1927. When he left the show after the third season, he realized he made a mistake. People loved Henry Blake, but they just liked McLean Stevenson. He went on to star in 4 more shows, all of them canceled. McLean Stevenson, born in state 1927. And Charles III, I guess we got to get used to saying that. Charles III, who had to wait 71 years to become king. He was 3 years old when his mother became queen. He was 73 when he got to be king. He is 74 years old today. Going to take a break, got an opinion from Mike Mad Dog McNaughty, and then we catch up with Tom Nees and our good friends at Serve Wenatchee Valley. That interview is coming up. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Live channel.
Since 1932, Camp Seneca, nestled on the beautiful shores of Lake Wenatchee, has provided children grades 1 through 12 with the ideal location for kids to learn new skills, have fun, and make friends while creating memories that will last a lifetime. Camp Seneca's rustic log cabins and their staff serve to provide each group a unique summer camp experience. Register for Camp Seneca today, www.campfirencw.org.
This is Mike Mad Dog McNaughty, and everybody's entitled to my opinion. Now, I did an opinion piece here that was played on Wake Up Wenatchee, Dan Kuntz's show, that criticized ads for investment opportunities, and I mentioned that what I felt was the nonsense of running such an ad on the local radio station, KPQ. Now, Rosie, my wife, heard this, and she said, "Oh, you're going to get in trouble." And I said, "With who, KPQ?" I said, "What's KPQ going to do? They're going to send Dave Bernstein to come beat me up?" Hey, Rosie laughed, and I laughed, and that was the end of it. Well, this is Mike Mad Dog McNaughty, and that's my opinion. I mean, I think that's the end of it. You don't think they'll really do that, do you?
Welcome back to the program. Whenever Tom Nees reaches out to me via email, I try to find some sort of creative excuse to tell him I'm busy or something like that. But he caught me at a weak moment last week. I didn't recognize the name, and I said, "Sure, you can do the show." And then I went, "Oh, Tom." So here's Tom Nees. No, I'm kidding. I love Tom Nees. Executive Director of Serve Wenatchee Valley, good friend of our program, good friend of the Valley, and an all-around awesome guy. Happy getting into the holidays, my friend. Good to see you.
Yeah, it's good to
be here.
You
look good. This is the cleanest I've ever seen you shave. Usually you have that 3-day stubble going.
I know.
What, special occasion, or you just run out of razor blade? What's
I've just been holding my cat in my arms more lately, and she licks my face a lot, and it just it's kind of actually good. If she misses a spot, then I just put a little bit of catnip, right there. Yeah, no, it works real well.
Let's get right to business. Thanks to the Great Emancipator, the fourth Thursday in November is Thanksgiving, and that, of course, means the baskets of blessings, which replaced the big meal that you guys used to serve for years and years and years. Your chance for you to give thanks for the less fortunate. How are we doing there on the baskets, my friend?
We're doing really good. We upped our game just a little bit this year. We're doing 500 baskets this year, and the baskets are almost all spoken for in terms of registration. We still need some help and support to be able to provide it. We're able to do this because we buy it bulk. We're able to do this for $35 a basket, and that includes turkey and some vegetables and fixins and a pie and some buns, potatoes, and gives them everything that gives families everything that they need to be able to celebrate a Thanksgiving meal in their own homes.
But folks can donate more than $35 if they want. They can donate $3,500 if they want.
We have all kinds of the full spectrum of folks that you can sponsor one family for $35, but there's a lot of folks that generously do more. But it's really all about this community coming together and doing what we can. And I think when we all do a little, we can accomplish a lot.
That's so true, so unbelievable true. Why the 500? Why more? The need is more, or you just thought, well, we can do more, or a combination of both?
It's a combination of both, but the need is clearly more. So we have a Fresh Hope Market. We've got a grocery store. We operate our food bank now as a grocery store, and that is up over 100% from where it was a year ago at the same time frame. And so just looking at that, we knew the need was going to be elevated, and so we just responded to that by adding some baskets to our program.
And that grocery store, it's a points-based system. You get fresh points at the beginning of each month, and I love it because you can pick up the stuff that you and your kids want to eat, as opposed to a food bank where, oh great, you get Brussels sprouts and creamed corn, you know, that kind of stuff. And it adds that certain a word that you love, and I am a huge fan of, dignity.
Yeah,
to the process.
I think it offers the dignity of choice, and a lot of the things that we do, with at Serve Wenatchee offers that. For instance, we just came through August, which was our back to school, clothing giveaway. Well, kids get to come in and pick the tennis shoes they want, pick the jeans, and pick the shirts. And Christmas program is very similar. We got that coming up here in December, and parents get to come in and pick the toys that they want to take home and deliver to their kids. And so it's the same thing every day at the Fresh Hope Market. You give that opportunity for choice. There's less waste because you're not giving them something they're not going to eat. It's going to end up in the wastebasket. They end up there to find the things that they know that will meet the needs of their family.
Plus perishable items, your dairy products, your eggs, your lettuce, things like that have a limited shelf life that normally are not associated with food banks.
Yes, we're very grateful to have a couple of very large coolers in there that we can bring in those donations of fresh produce. We've got a couple of big freezers that we can get meat in there and be able to deliver to families as well. Yeah, and non-food as well. Diapers is certainly one of the key, and I don't know if you've been out pricing diapers lately, which occasionally I run into you someplace out in the community. I don't see you in the diaper aisle very often. But the diapers are a costly item, and they put a crazy burden on families.
It's crazy how much diapers cost. You don't have to be a mathematical genius. You go through the diaper aisle on the way to the beer or whatever it is for me. It's crazy what they're charging for diapers. Is it because I can get away with it? I mean, how much does it cost to manufacture a diaper? But that's got to be terribly cost prohibitive, especially for a new mom or a new family. having to buy diapers
so
like that.
Overwhelmingly costly. And everything, of course, is, just elevated in terms of cost. And it's, the most vulnerable among us are hit, as hard, if not harder than anybody.
Has inflation affected your, lack of better word, business? I don't know, how is business in regards to where we are with the economy?
Yeah, it's affected, to some degree, but I just continue. I think I say it every time I'm on here. I'm amazed at the generosity of the community. There's some point at which I've just got to stop being amazed, because this community continues to come through. And it's not just with regard to Serve Wenatchee. We're part of the Community Foundation's Give NCW campaign at year's end. And there's, all kinds of nonprofits out there that are doing great things. And I have every belief that those, organizations are going to be funded through this, program that Community Foundation has put together. And people are going to respond to the need, because we like to be a part of the solution in people's lives. We like to be a part of that. And I think when one of the things we say at Serve Wenatchee all the time is we're simply a conduit of your generosity. I don't ever ask you to support Serve Wenatchee. What I want you to do is understand that your connection and your donation it goes through Serve Wenatchee to meet the end user.
You're the middle of the hourglass.
We're simply a conduit that provides you a vehicle for generosity, and that's what I see. I think people want to be a part of something, and when they see something that they can do with that generosity and participate in it, they'll do it. And
there are a ton of success stories from Serve Wenatchee Valley. People just down on their luck for just a little bit of time. They just need a little bit of a little help. They get it around, they turn it around. It's a beautiful, wonderful thing. Then they end up on your board, or they help out in the office, or they become. It's there. It's happened. There's a lot of those kinds of stories, isn't there?
No, there's just great stories, and we hear it all the time. I got sticky notes put on my computer this last week, and my staff knows that I hate sticky notes. And just so you know, I shouldn't tell you that I hate sticky notes, because now I'm going to walk out and my whole car is going to be covered with sticky notes. That was a dumb thing to say in front of you. But these two sticky notes I love, because there was a sticky note of somebody that came through and simply said, I don't know where I would be today without the hope that I found. And those kind of stories get you up in the morning. They keep you coming back. And that's, I think, the nature of hope, is that we have a tendency to think that hope is one directional, that it goes through me and I can offer you hope because you're in need of hope. But what hope does is that it also gives me a resurgent sense of hope in the kindness and generosity of the human beings that are in our community. And so I equally get lifted. It's like that rising tide. You've got a rising tide, and it lifts every boat in the harbor when that tide comes in. And so that to me is the inspirational nature of hope.
Serve Wenatchee Valley has been around for, I want to say, 20 years, or maybe even longer than that, when it was originally conceived as a consortium of local churches getting together. So why don't we all serve the same purpose? Why don't we just have one organization, a conduit, which is how Serve Wenatchee Valley was launched, and here it is all these years later. Have other communities call you up, say, hey, other churches and other communities say, hey, Tom, this Serve Wenatchee Valley thing seems to be working. How do we go about doing that? Has the idea of a Serve Wenatchee Valley organization spread to other communities?
It has. There's not a most recent example of that happening, but Serve Moses Lake was an example of Serve Wenatchee coming alongside a group of community leaders to help put together Serve Moses Lake. We also had a role in helping Chelan Valley Hope get started years ago. And so we do have community leaders that will reach out to us. I remember Bob Shepard and I went to Chicago once, and we went to an inner city immersion project, and it was, faith-based organizations that were just doing good in their community. And there wasn't one of them that could believe that we had 30 to 40 partner churches that were working together to meet the common goal of meeting the needs of their neighbors. It just was totally unfounded and unheard of. It was just inconceivable. And so it is a very unique, outreach, and we're truly grateful for our church partners, our business partners, our individuals. And again, when we all just see the need and do a little, man, we've been able to accomplish a lot. We're grateful.
Glad Song can sing. These folks can sing. I saw them at the Apple Blossom Festival. Was blown away by these folks. And then I stumbled across a performance that they did. I can't remember, either in the PAC or something like that. Glad Song Choir is going to be helping you guys out. Talk about that. You need notes, by the way? I got it right here.
We are really, yes. Sunday, December 4th at 6:30. Glad Song is doing a benefit, and they have it in their hearts to benefit the community when they go and sing, and we are very grateful for that. Little birdie told me this last week that Glad Song actually ends their choir rotation at the end of November, and this is sort of a special extended period of time that they were willing to open up their hearts to come and do a benefit concert for Serve Wenatchee. It's going to benefit the Fresh Hope Market, and so we're looking at this as like sponsoring a cart, or sponsoring a basket. There's 4 baskets per cart, and so that's the fundraising opportunity is there, and as you said, to listen to some really wonderful, amazing music.
And yeah, by the way, they sing all genres. That was the one thing you think, okay, well, it's kind of a faith-based kind of a deal, but they sing it all. They sing pop and jazz and blues, and they can do it.
Yep, they can.
And they do it well. And again, it's at the First Assembly God Church, which is on McKittrick Street here in the big city. A couple more things. We'll cut you loose. You got a new logo coming out, right?
We do. It's actually a new Hope sticker. So we're doing a, kind of a fresh update on the Hope. Some of you in your audience may have seen a Hope sign, a yard sign.
They're everywhere.
Somewhere.
Stickers are on cars.
Hope sticker. And so we just thought we needed to freshen up that look just a little bit, but the same, Hope, symbology, if you will, that we can just be in. One thing I want to point out, there's nowhere on those Hope stickers that it says Serve Wenatchee anywhere, because Serve Wenatchee doesn't own Hope. We, in our community, we own that collectively as a community. That's how we demonstrate that. And so this is not just a creative marketing, effort. It really is to have that moniker of hope showing throughout our community. And I can't tell you the number of stories of people that have been driving down the road and seen a Hope sign, and it hit them at a very particular moment in time where they just needed the simple message of hope in their life at that moment. And
people have asked me, they see them on cars. They see the stickers on, and they're not very obtrusive, so people put them on their cars. I'm like, what is that? And then I say, Serve Wenatchee Valley. Just Google Serve Wenatchee Valley, and that's all you need to know. And then hopefully it starts them towards your fine organization. One last thing, Tom Nees. That's Tom with an H, by the way. Nees, your shirt. What is that?
Oh,
yeah. Well, what is that?
So a couple of years ago, Serve Wenatchee became the fiscal sponsor and launched a community housing trust. And the community housing trust is Common Ground Community Housing Trust. We have recently achieved our 501c3 status and now are in the process of building the organization up to be able to deliver on our commitment to offer affordable home ownership opportunities in this community. We're, our closest example to this happening most recently was up in Chelan. In Chelan last year, they delivered 5 townhome units in downtown Chelan, right on Emerson Street.
I talked to Mike Cooney about it. It's a great success story that's going on up there because it's hard. And Mike and I talked about this, Tom. I don't want to interrupt, but I want to stress this. It's so hard sometimes you would think, you got to convince builders. Builders can make a hell of a lot more money building bigger and more expensive houses, and they turn that around and they're making a lot of money. Trying to convince them to build smaller, more affordable homes kind of goes against their grain, but it's working. It's happening.
It is. It's working and happening, and that's our objective. Our footprint is the greater Wenatchee area, so the Wenatchee and Eastmont School District boundaries, and we're looking forward to having our first project, to be able to break some ground and get started with delivering some units in our community at a price that our workforce and lower income families can step into. one of the reasons that we're focusing on home ownership is that Serb Wenatchee's model is to meet folks at intervention, help them take their next step towards stability, and ultimately to step into security. And security, if you look at the net worth of a homeowner in this country, the average net worth is about $250,000. That's the average net worth. Do you know what the average net worth of a home renter is?
No.
It's less than $5,000.
That's what they own. That's your material goods between clothes and cars and
so you can
furniture.
See that security, getting people into an ownership opportunity elevates their life. They're no longer at the whims of rising, rental rates. They can establish security. Their families are solid. Their kids are in the same school. They're not having to move around.
It's a foundation, and you can't build anything without a foundation.
Absolutely. And so it creates that security part of this model that we so long for, to see that trajectory of families be able to take that step into security. And for those of us, that maybe own a home, I own a home, it's so easy to take that for granted. Yeah. And so we're really excited, got a great team of folks that are coming together. This community has gathered together well around this. What is it, the last 5 election cycles, housing has been either 1, 2, or 3 in terms of important community issues that we need to solve. So this gives an opportunity for solution that it's not the solution. It's not the only thing that's going on, but it is a solution that can help families take their next step.
And it's very, very urgent because, as everybody knows, there's a finite amount of real estate here in the Wenatchee Valley, and then that's it. There's just one place else to build. By the way, everything that he talked about, including the Common Ground, is on Tom's website at Serb Wenatchee Valley. Just Google Serb Wenatchee Valley. It's the first thing that pops up. It's all right there. And stick a little crowbar in your wallet this holiday season. Help Tom and the crew out. Let's make it happen.
I'm grateful for that.
You're more than welcome to come on anytime you want. You know that, right?
I know.
Because my ratings go like sky high when Tom's on the deal.
I know they will. I know they will. And next time, if it's too disruptive for you, I will leave the cat alone for a week or so. And
Tom Nee is the executive director of Serb Wenatchee Valley. Keep up the good work, my friend. Come see me again soon. I mean it. Let's do another visit closer to the holidays.
Sounds great.
All right.
I look forward to it.
You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We'll be right back.
"50 years ago, a group of visionaries saw a need to provide high-quality health care to every member of our community,
regardless of age or income.
Today, Columbia Valley Community Health has grown to provide medical,
dental,
and behavioral health care through a network of facilities
and a mobile clinic that serves patients in remote locations.
For 50 years, we have been offering quality care to all,
and we will continue to do so
for 50 more.
We are CVCH,
and we are here with you.
Getting ready for the boating season is easy with the help of Bob File Boats and Motors. Now's the time of year to upgrade your boat from a new motor, a bow mount, installing a state-of-the-art GPS fish finder, or just fixing your trailer lights. Make your appointment today. With marine technology changing fast, the service department stays up to date with the newest developments and factory certifications. Spend more time on the water and less time at the shore. Get ready for summer fun now at Bob File Boats and Motors.
Beautiful view up Lake Wenatchee Way on this early Monday morning. Temperature hasn't really changed much. It was 27 when this show started. We bumped all the way up to 28. Wow. Good morning to Lake Antioch, sometimes called the Columbia River, which is really what it is. Actually, the Columbia River itself is now a series of reservoirs with all the dams on the Columbia River. It doesn't flow like it did 100 years ago, I can tell you that much. As far as the weather is concerned, beautiful view. That's Lake Wenatchee socked in with the clouds and the fog with the sunshine up above it. And what you see there is pretty much what we're going to have for the course of the week. It's going to be lots and lots of clouds and fog in the morning, burning off to sunshine mid to late afternoon, pretty much all day long until we get to Thursday and Friday. Then it'll be sunny pretty much all day long. But for today, tomorrow, and Wednesday, the same pattern will emerge. It's dry, it's cold, it'll be cloudy in the morning and sunshine in the afternoon. From the National Weather Service, it looks something like this. 38 our forecast high today. We hit 42 on Sunday because we had sunshine most of the day. Not going to be the case today. Clouds and fog in the morning, sunshine in the afternoon Thursday. Tuesday, Wednesday. Thursday, we'll see more sunshine, however. So that's looking good there. Friday, because no cloud cover to hold the heat in, a little bit cooler still on Saturday and Sunday. All of these temperatures, by the way, below normal, as you might imagine. And that is it for us. Have a great Monday. We will see you tomorrow. Until then, bye-bye.